Good morning, everyone. This is Miss T. I hope everyone is having a good morning, spending time with the Lord and getting ready for the rest of your day. Hope you had a blessed weekend. What I wanted to talk about today was I read the story, or was following the story about the young mother who was jumped by a group of children with her 9-year-old son and her 6-year-old daughter. And she has lupus. Now, the story is that her son has been being bullied for the last 2 years because the kids tease him about his mother, how she talks and how slow she walks. I truly hope that is not the main reason why they jumped on her, was because of her disability. I don't know what transpired. I don't know if she walks her kids home every day. I don't know any of that. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The alarming problem is these are elementary kids. So these kids, I'm concerned about how if you're raised in a home where there's principles, morals, and consequences. I don't see that your child who's in elementary, that means you're 8, 9, 10, 11, or whatever, would even have the goal to, first of all, she was an adult. Second of all, they knew that she couldn't fight back because she has this disability. And they also attacked the 10-year-old. She was holding both her kids, trying to protect them. And the little 6-year-old was off to the side crying and screaming. They did pull her hair, but they didn't really involve her in the beating. Now, I don't know the situation with all the children and what is going on in their home. I know that you can try to do the best you can raising your kids, and they still go outside the house and do things that that you did not instill. You try and instill good things in them, and they still go out and find friends who have different values, or families who have different values, and they follow along with what they do. But I don't see this as that situation. There is no way that a child who, even if one decided that they were going to hit the woman, that all those children just followed. I can't believe that. They say the school has had a problem. There's parents who rallied around her and actually moved her out of that neighborhood, and who are appalled. I mean, they're in uproar because that, first of all, it could happen to anyone. And what gives a child, what's in their mind that they think that this is fun, or it's okay, or and what is going through their parents' mind? I know there's some parents that are truly devastated. But we all know that there are some children that are being raised differently. And so that action that they took probably wasn't the first time, or it's acceptable, or, we usually see, kids being bullied, and then the parents get involved, and then the parents fight, and, all these different things. But for these children to, I couldn't even tell you how many there were, to attack this woman and her kids is just another sign of how evil and sinful this world is. Now, I haven't updated on any of the information. I don't know if any of the parents have come out and spoke, about, how truly sorry they are. This is not how they raise their kids. They will be punished or anything like that. I know people, they want to protect their kids too, but this is beyond. This is a serious situation. If they can put their hands on a helpless woman who has lupus and she can hardly walk, and her 10-year-old son and her 6-year-old daughter, they'll be the ones who are robbing you at gunpoint and stealing your car at gunpoint and pistol whipping you, because these are those kids. They're in elementary and they already are into violence. And they thought it was, of course, fun, and of course not thinking that, I don't know, is it the social media that gets some of these people, or I'm gonna call them people right now, adults, because the actions that they did were not childlike, but for them to videotape this, put it on social media, it's like there's no, like they felt it was okay, and their faces were being shown, and maybe they felt there was no repercussions. They just wanted the video out there to see if it could go viral, or they could talk about it amongst each other. I don't know, but I'm just shocked. Actually, I'm not shocked. It's the signs of the times, and it's going to get worse. We have to worry about adults doing violence. We have to worry about teenagers doing violence. And now we have to worry about children who are partaking in violence. You're not safe anywhere. You don't know. They look innocent, because I can see a group of elementary kids standing at the bus stop, and I see a group of kids, little kids. First of all, I will tell you, if that mother would have been 5'7" and kind of big, I don't believe that they would have done that, or if they attempted, there would have been some that were going to regret it. People prey on the weak, and our children are learning that, that it's okay to. She was disabled, so it's okay to attack a disabled woman, grown woman, who you're supposed to have respect for, and her 2 small children, and it was okay. And they beat her to the ground, and she said all she could hear was her son screaming, "Mommy, help me." And she said she couldn't, because they were attacking her. She couldn't even get to her son. My heart is broken. I don't know how other people feel, but that's why I try not to watch the news or social media, because there is nothing good. I don't see anything good. I have to go search for things to find that good that happened in the community. But as soon as something, because that's what news is. It likes to tell all the bad things. It gets ratings, it gets, but it also gets awareness out there. Because I surely, when I first heard the story, I would never have believed it was elementary kids. High school kids. But elementary, these kids, it's when you think of elementary, you're thinking that they just now became, just now are coming out of the toddler stage. Where does this violence come? We get social media and video games, and are we really watching what our kids are looking at, and who their friends are, and who they're talking to, and what movies they're watching, and who's their, or are we just buying them all this violent games and whatever, just to get them out of your hair, because they'll spend hours and hours. If a child spends hours and hours playing a video game that shoots at police, that show men selling women and running over people with their car, what do you think that's going to soak into their head? They think that's fun. People think it's an innocent video game. I don't know what normal person would think that's an innocent video game, but hey, if that, but if you're watching this, like I said, the thing that you put into your mind the most is what comes out, is what you focus on, what is gets attached to you. And so you play these video games, and they over and over and over and over and over again. Some kid is gonna say, let's do it in real life and see how it feels, because they're gonna want to know what it feels in real life. So I don't know. I'm going to follow this story. I really hope that the parents of these kids come out, and at least 1, 2, I don't know, and let the world know that this is, because I know that, I'm not going to blame the parents at this point, because I don't know what goes on in anybody's household but my own. But it just seems like to me that some of the kids would have been like, my mom will beat, if she sees me on that video jumping on that woman, I'm gonna get jumped. I'm not me. I'm staying far away. Did not any one of those children have that fear that my mom and my dad are going to beat me down if they see me participating in this? I know there was one parent that said her child was just following along, and that made it okay. So your child is free when she follows along to rob an old lady, and they beat her down and she has a heart attack and passes away. You're justifying it because she wasn't the leader, she was just following. That's why I say we need to be raising leaders and not followers. It only takes one strong person, it only takes one strong child to say, this, leave her alone, that's not right, come on, and for the kids to be like, okay, and follow that. I'm sure there was a ringleader. If he was the leader, she was the leader. Maybe if she would have said, you guys stop, that's enough, or don't hit her or whatever, it wouldn't have went that far. But it seemed like every child enjoyed, or that's what they planned on doing, and that's what they wanted to do. She was walking home. Didn't look like there was any confrontation. She might have asked, she could even have said, would you please stop bullying my son? She could have said, I don't care what she said. It doesn't justify the violence, the evil intent of the minds of these children that acted like, I'm not even going to say adults, because most adults don't act like that. They don't resort to violence all the time. I know that that's what social media shows the most, because they have platforms for that, when people get out and fight. But that's not really, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, not really an everyday thing that people just meet up to fight, or people just, women and just fight all the time, or men just fight all the time. I have just watched too many videos of violence. Had a man, black man, he was beating up, I don't know if this was a teenager, he had a backpack on, so I assumed that he was in school, I don't know, but he was, beating him up, and the only person who tried to stand up was an elderly man, so he turned his violence on him, the elderly man. And so when you don't have, there's a lot of mental illness, and of course we always say mental illness. That does not justify, because just because you have mental illness and you know that there's something wrong, you need to get help. You can't just walk around, and just because you have mental illness, that justifies, what you do, and you can use that as a defense. You can get help. There's places that you can go to help. You can't just walk around and feel like whatever you feel that day, or however you feel that day, your actions are, justifiable. But because of sin, and that's what it all boils down to. This is a sinful, we're coming to the end, the last days, and I know people say they've been saying we've come into the last days forever. And true, because when God gave his commandments and the information of how the world was going to turn, that day started the end of the world, because everything that is happening has been written down step by step. Says sons and daughters will go against their parents. How many stories have you seen of kids unaliving their parents, parents unaliving their kids, husbands unaliving their wives unaliving their, it's just, there's no end to it. And it has been told that this is what's going to happen. It's going to get rampant. Lawlessness is going to be everywhere. And lawlessness, really, basically, before there was anything such as a police, sheriff, or whatever, people went around and did whatever. Well, let me take that back. There were some people who continued to do that when we had police and sheriffs and whatever. But just going around doing what they wanted to do, and with no repercussions. No, we're not being arrested. And it continued. It went on and on and on. That's where we're back to. That's exactly where we're back to. We're coming to full circle of the beginning and to the end, what it was supposed to be, and how, because of sin, how it turned out, and what is going to be the end. I surely hope that people are getting tired, that there are still people out there who have good common sense. I'm not even saying that are, even churchgoers or following the Lord, just people who are good and kind-hearted, period, that have common sense, that believe in right, that they get tired of seeing all these people being attacked, people being unalive, people being hurt, people getting their belongings taken because someone decides that they want it and they don't care how they get it. Because for someone to break into your house, they're ready for anything, especially at night. Most people are at home at night, sleep. So if someone comes into your house, they're ready to take your things and possibly take your life. That might be the added sport. It used to be they waited, they cased, they took their time. They found out when you left the house or went to work, who all went to school, what time. They took so they could break in during the day and take everything they wanted without any confrontation, without anybody, without anything. But now we don't care. It's by any means. And it might almost be, we want to see the look on these people's faces when we break into their house while they're asleep and they wake up to us taking their things. How they're going, that could be a sick power thing going on. It's just like people feel like they have the right to decide how your life is going to turn out, just because they have some type of sick, demented minds that they chose, that they go out and choose people, like they have the right to decide if you are live or die, or they have the right to decide if they're going to kidnap you and do awful things. Like people have, it's almost like they feel like this is their right, like they have the right to do this. I have these feelings. I dream about it. I think about it all the time. And now I'm going to act upon it, and I'm going to take a poor innocent somebody who's living their life, minding their business, trying to make it, and I'm going to just destroy everything that they've worked hard for. I'm going to destroy their families. I'm going to destroy their children because of the need that I have. And it's just a vicious cycle, because this is what it's geared to. Porno is $1 billion industry. You can get any kind of movie that you want, including abuse of animals, children, whatever, that feeds these sick minds. You can get it. And you, like I said, you'll watch it over and over and over again. It seeps into your mind. You're already warped mind, because anybody who wants to watch a movie about a child being abused, about women being, already has a depraved mind. So you're feeding your mind, and so then now when that gets boring, or when that gets, you've done that, the next step is to do it, to actually know how it feels to be in charge of somebody, or being in, or having someone beg for their life or whatever. And they're practically knowing that they're going to probably get away with it, at least for a little while. I'm not going to say that, because of new technology. Like I said, there's some good technology. They are catching people, more now versus back in the day where people weren't being caught. They're just now catching people who were serial unalivers back in the 70s or 80s or whatever. But it seems like it's almost, it seems like it's worth taking the risk of getting caught just to do it, because the urge is greater than the consequences, just for that, maybe that one satisfaction of finding out how it really is, how you can, if you sit and talk to, when they try to get into the minds of serial unalivers, when they sit and talk to them and write books about them and tape them talking, it always seems like they start off with something in their childhood. Some of them start, say when they were little kids, that they had these thoughts. So I don't know, maybe they were born that way. Sin, you don't know how sin reproduces itself, how it gets intertwined in people. So what they're basically saying is that there's signs to look for, but I believe there's signs I believe there's people that can be very, very normal, or pretend to be very normal. That's why they've gotten away with it for 20 years or however many years. Gary Ridgway, who had a job, worked on his job for many years, got away with it for 20 years because he didn't look like the evil boogeyman, and what we think that they are supposed to look like. He was a nice guy. He had a wife and a child. He stayed on his job. He did, the family kind of things. But he had an evil mind that he believed that he had to release this, and he felt that it was okay because these women were prostitutes, and prostitutes don't matter. And it's not, it doesn't help when the police make people think that's the case. They always want to put someone that comes up missing, and they find out that that's what they do, that they were living a high risk life. Like, okay, we understand there's a lot of people that live a high risk life, but that doesn't mean that someone has the right to take it, and that you don't have, you're not going to put in your best effort to find or catch this person, because basically what you're saying, if they hadn't have been doing what they were doing, it wouldn't have happened. In the Bible it says thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill unless the person is living a high risk life. It doesn't say any of that. God hung out with bad people. He hung out with prostitutes and all kinds of different people that were committing sins. It was the people, the higher ups who had the money, who basically turned against him, who crucified Jesus. The people of the world, of the land, who were, what do you want to call them? They're less than or whatever. They're classified as, less than. They followed Jesus. They believed in Jesus. They were looking for a savior. They were looking for a way out of the life that they were living, and they believed in him. So that's still today. So if you touch any of his children, it's a sin. He doesn't care what you think about them. He loves them, and he said not to touch them. And if you do, I don't care how much you justify why you're able to do it, you're going to pay the ultimate price. He might, Gary, I don't even really want to use his name, but I don't like to say what they call him as the serial killer. So this man probably thought he really got away with it because they had to take the death penalty off of the table because there were women who were still missing that he was willing to show them where their bodies were at. And so, of course, since they wanted to give closure to other families, they put that deal. So he's just got life in prison. It's so funny how he took so many lives, but he didn't want his taken. He was scared to have his taken. That's the he was such a powerful man, he thought in his mind, when he was unaliving 16-year-olds and 20-year-olds and pregnant women and women of very, very small stature. And but when he was caught, the first thing he said is he didn't want to die. Why not? What was your fear? That you were going to meet all of them? That they were going to find you in the afterworld? Some people believe all kinds of things, but your punishment, sir, is not prison. Not the fact that you're going to stay in there for the rest of your life. You're going to not leave that place until you're unalived. And that's what you think your punishment is. That's nothing. That's not anything that is going to amount to the punishment that you're going to, and might I add, unless you repent and ask for forgiveness. And believe me, I'm just like every other person. I have to pray because I just can't, in my mind, understand. There's people out here that sin. Yes, they sin, but they're not taking people's lives. They're not doing heinous things. They're not, doing destructive things. And it seems like, to me, we would think these people actually have a chance to go to heaven if they repent and ask for forgiveness for the horrible things that they do. But that's what the Bible tells us. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on God knows what he's doing. He has control, and whatever he chooses is what's going to happen. Most of these people in their minds, and God knows your heart. So he can sit in prison because when they go to prison, they only have time on their hands. And so they will say, after they get their GED or whatever, I'm probably sure he already graduated. I believe he graduated. But they get whatever degrees they can get, and then they say they found God. God, you can fool us, but you're not going to fool him. So you can use that as a way of protection or a way of having people, treat you a little bit better because now you are sorry and you have found God and you put that out there and you really haven't. You just want to, you're not fooling him. So you still have a punishment coming. So we don't know. We shouldn't focus on other people's sins in their lives because we have to be accountable for our own. We have to, no one's going to vouch for you. No one's going to write a letter of recommendation. No one's going to trade their life for yours. You're going to stand up and be judged for your life, what you did not do, how you treated people, how you followed the law, how you spread it, how you put God's word out, and how you worshiped him, what you did. He's not, you know, everyone will have to be held accountable for their own sins. And so you can't protect your children, your mothers, not any of that. This is we all are family, but at the end, you're going to stand alone. You're going to face your punishment alone. Nobody, and it's going to be the most frightening thing that you've ever done, because at least when you do something wrong here on earth, or if you can have a family behind you that still cares about you and still is, rallying around you, you're going to stand alone and be held accountable for what you did, and then face your ultimate punishment. And if you feel that this earth, this evil earth, this place of the world where nobody cares basically what happens to the next person, they're trying to make it, and they, forget whoever's down at the bottom. And I'm not saying everybody, because not everybody is the same. Not everybody is an evil person. Not everybody thinks of evil things to do. Not everybody is full of hate and envy and all those, things that cause sin to happen or bad things to happen. But if you're in that category, if you feel that is worth losing your eternal life, I feel sorry for you. There's nothing on this earth that is worth losing your eternal life with God. Nothing. I don't care what kind of car it is you're looking for. I don't care how big a house you're trying to build. I don't care how much money you're putting in your bank account. I don't care how many trips that you have taken out of the country, all the fancy foods that you can eat or afford to buy. It doesn't matter, because God's law, he said those who are able are to help those who aren't. And so if you're taking your life, you're living your best life, and you care about nobody else, none of his other children, none of his other people who don't have that opportunity, all this is in vain. Live it up, have fun, live your best life, because in the end, you're going to lose it. And I know I started out about the children, but I have to fall. I have to go off track every time. But it all falls in together. If you start off as kids, man, what kind of adult are you going to be? Where are you, who is raising you? What's your situation? It's not too late to change, to help these children, to get them turned around, get them in counseling. Maybe they don't understand that what they did or they followed along in doing was wrong. Maybe that's all they've seen in their life is violence, or how people in the adults in their life, how they handle conflict is through violence, or how they think, everything ends, or how you just fix everything with violence. Now, the part about attacking them or just going after this woman because she was disabled, I'm not understanding that at all. I can't even wrap my head around that. That's why I said I want to follow the story, because we are falling further and further down. Pretty soon, it's not going to be we're stuck in the house because of COVID. It's going to be we're stuck in the house because if you go outside, something's going to happen to you. Period. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Escape from New York, where they put all the criminals on in New York and let them fend for themselves. And there was a certain time that you had to be hidden somewhere, because if you were found outside, you weren't going to make it. I believe the world, if we went any further, we would get to that. People were just become so overwhelmed with hate and hate in their heart and sin on their minds that the police can't do anything, won't be able to do anything because they'll be attacked. It could turn out to be any kind of way. He said lawlessness. That means anything goes. So if you are not grounded in Jesus, if you're not studying and you're not praying and you're not making him a priority in your life, the main, he has to be first. You're bound to run into situations that can cause harm or whatever. It's I'm not going to say it's inevitable, but you have a better chance of finding those things, or those things finding you, because you don't have the armor, the protection of God. You don't have his cover. And yeah, people can go out and purchase weapons and take classes to protect yourself, but if the devil is on the other person's side, if he's a soldier of the devil, that your gun may not even protect you. Your weapon may not even protect you. So to guarantee or to have a better protection, or have a better life, or have a way of avoiding some of the evil and the craziness that's going on, you have to have God as your armor. He tells you in everything, let him fight your battles. Come to him, let him ease your mind. He's the come to the heavens where your help is. That's where your help is. um, you're in your heart, when you feel, when you have have been shown what he can do, what he has done, or what he will do, you don't fear a lot of things. Um, a lot of things you don't worry about, because you already know how it's going to happen, how it's going to be, what's going to happen. You're already prepared about different things, or what is going to happen because of the lawlessness, because you're reading, you're studying, and he's telling you everything, and that's going to happen, and so you can be prepared, so you can. And I don't want to say that you have to live like, in fear and things like that. I'm just saying that God can't lie. God does not lie. So if he tells you, you do his will, he will protect you, then you believe it. I'm not saying that you're not going to have things happen. Because this world is full of sin, but it might be a different outcome. You just don't know, because you don't know. All you know is how you are, how you react, or what you do know about other people, because you can study. If you around somebody long enough, or you know how they are. But if you just don't know that, when God says he's protecting you, he's going to protect you, you don't even know what he protected you from that day. You don't even know what he protected you from in the evening. You don't know how he saved your life when you left 5 minutes later from the house, and if you would have went when you were going to be in a terrible car accident that you weren't going to make it out of. You just don't know those things, because you don't need to know. He says this is what he's going to do. And so you don't need to worry about that. He said he's going to take care of it. Let him fight your battles. I just want people to hold on to hope and prayer in God. Try him. Just, when everything else isn't working, everything else isn't working. You, especially if you live in certain places, every place is touched by sin. Every place is evil, but there are some places that have, for whatever reason, is just populated with it. So you have there's kids in Chicago who can't play outside or get shot by stray bullets in their own home, where there's kids in Utah who can play wherever and never experience that. But everyone's going to be touched by it. You can't run from sin. You're on this world, in the world. God said it's full of sin, and he said we're all sinners and fall short. So I don't care where you run, or where you move out of and run to the suburbs and whatever, it still can touch you. You can't hide. You can't run from anything. The devil is everywhere. He has powers, and he uses them. The only way to guarantee protection is to serve God. That's the only way you can guarantee. And what he's guaranteeing you is protection from the evils. You're still going to have everyday life. You're still going to have things happen, but he can still bring you out of those things. He's not saying that if you choose me, no one, you're untouchable. You're going to have a wonderful life. You're not going to, you can't have a wonderful life on this earth. This is not your home. It's evil. There's evil all around. So what you think is a wonderful life, yeah, maybe, if you have a lot of money. But you shouldn't want to get accustomed or be accustomed to this type of life or want it. He continuously tells us in his word that your riches are in heaven. They're not on this earth. So if you're chasing the pot of gold down here, you already automatically know that it's not real, and you're in the consequences that you're going to face chasing that, because he says nothing good about this earth. He said your riches are in heaven. He said all the happiness is in heaven. All the love is in heaven. All pain has gone away. There will be no tears. You won't have a thought of anything bad. You'll get to lay down with the lion. Lambs will lay down with lions. It's just going to be every day, all day, praising and worshiping, and everyone just, filled with happiness and love and kindness, and people are not going to, everyone's going to be on one accord. You just have to believe, have faith of a mustard seed. You have to study daily and pray daily, maybe all day, continuously, nonstop. It's not just a relationship with God is not just, I'm going to go to church and sing songs and listen to the preacher and go home and then start all over again. That's not how you serve the Lord. God is an everyday part. Just like you go to work every day, God is a everyday part of your life. He is to be, before you think of anything else, you should be thinking of thanking him for waking you up. You have another day to get it right. You have another day to make a change. You have, some people, there was several thousands of people who did not wake up this morning. Could be hundreds of thousands. So their opportunity is gone. However they lived their life and however they chose, whatever they chose, it's over. They don't have any more chances. It's over for them. The next thing they'll remember is seeing him coming, seeing him coming from the sky, and knowing, because you're automatically going to know by the way you feel, by the way you react, where your destiny is. And there's no bargaining. There's no, God is a loving God. We read this all through the Bible, but he also is a God of his promise. That's why he's given us so long to change, to read, to understand why it's so important to follow him. Because he can't say, how somebody says, I just have to make sure they know. I give them every opportunity so that they know. Someone can't say, I didn't know, or someone can't say, no one told me. That's not going to be an option, because you will know. You will know. And so his wrath will be fierce. Because that's the ultimate, that's the end. He doesn't want to taint anything that's going to happen after that with any evil. There's not going to be any evil left. And I mean, that's just it sometimes it makes it's scary to think, because you know that you have to be purposeful about how you live your life, how you treat people, what you say. But I've learned that since God says we're all sinners and fall short, He knows that we have sin in us. We can't get away from it. We can't deny it. We can't. But He just needs for you to ask Him to forgive you, or to guide you, or to lead you to do the right thing. And if you're slipping, He knows He knows that. So don't ever let anybody ever tell you, oh God, all the things you've done, you would never make it to heaven, or He will never forgive you. That's not true. They're saying that because that's the life that they know they're having. And misery loves company, and people just want to, if they're miserable and they're down in the depths, they want people down there with them. And so don't fall for it. Sometimes it could be a lonely following the Lord, especially if you're around people who are not, or are not as serious as you are, and so you don't have comfort or someone to be strong for you when you don't feel like you're strong. But that's where God comes in. He's your closest friend. He's not never going to forsake you or leave you, no matter what you do. People will come and go out of your life. People will be in your life and treat you bad. You just have to ask God to keep your mind aware. And you need to get those people out of your life immediately, because they're going to cause you to slip. If you allow people in your life that are do not have your best interest, do not care about you, talk about you, that's going to cause you to react in a way that's not Christian-like. So why have them there? It's sad because some of those people are your family. But God didn't say you had to have them in your everyday life. You can love them from afar. You can pray for them. You can whatever. You can let them know, if I love you, you're my daughter, my son, my mother, whoever. But I can't jeopardize my salvation because because of your actions. And you should understand that. I can still have family gatherings and be with. We just don't have to be together every day, or talk every day, or see each other all the time. If there's something happens and you need me, I'm there. Just be purposeful in your life, and be in control. Let God be in control, so you can understand what steps you need to take, or what where you're falling short, or how you want to be strengthened in a different area. And he will come through. And I know people are, a lot of people who doubt and say, well, if God is real, how come this happens and that happens? And if you read the Bible, I don't really get in. God doesn't want you to argue with people about the Bible. He doesn't want you to get in arguments. That's why probably people shouldn't have conversations about religion, because there's no reason to argue. You read the Bible; it's there. I read just like you can read. I'm not going to argue with why this and why that. Go find out for yourself. I can tell you all day long, but until you decide that you want to know for yourself, you want to accept him for yourself, or you want to not even accept, if you're just a person who doesn't believe, just read. Even if you don't believe, you have to know that everything that is happening is already written in the Bible, and that the books that were taken out of the Bible, that you can get those and read that along with the Bible, or you can get an Ethiopian Bible that was never changed. You can understand why things are going the way things are happening, why things have happened, why this, why that, and what's not going to happen, and how you don't have to be afraid of this because it's not in the Bible. He didn't say that was going to happen. It's written down step by step. Everything that's going to happen, everything that's from the beginning to the end. All you have to do, and you don't even have to, you come as you are and let him peel the layers off. Let him heal you from the inside out. Let him show you. I hope, people that listen, people that support my channel come and listen. I had told God has really been good to me. He has blessed me. I rarely, just everything that I felt was something terrible in my life turned out for the good. I've had hiccups and things like that, and I understand them. I don't say, woe is me, and why me, and I'm trying to do what you asked me to do, and why is this happening? Never question whatsoever. He also was there for me when I was not seeking him, and when I was of the world, in the world, and enjoying the sinful ways. He still was there for me. And so all I can do now is praise him and share that with other people who probably where I was and was lost and didn't know that this isn't this isn't what life is supposed to be. We are here for temporarily to make it to do right, to live for God, so that we can make it to our true home, to our permanent home. So that allows me, that's why I don't have to have a brand new car. I don't feel like I have to take, just because most people do things for other people to see them. You really can't afford some of the things you do, but you want other people to think that you made it and you're important. You're important because you're a child of God, and that's all I care about. And once you get that freedom, you feel so much better. You don't have a lot of things weighing on you. You don't have to impress anyone. You don't have to, because they're not impressed. They don't care. Oh, I like your new truck. That's nice. Is that a and then when you drive off and they can't afford that. I know somebody co-signed for it. They probably stole, prostitute or something. They don't care. They're not happy for you. Unless you're going to share some of that with them. A person who truly loves you, a friend who truly loves you, will sit in the dirt with you while you try to figure out how you're going to get out of this situation. They will cry with you. They will help you figure out how to get out. They will pray with you. They will feed you when you're hungry and you don't have. That is what a true person who loves you and wants you to do better and be better. They want you to be just as, wherever their life has taken them, they want you to be there too. Sometimes they will walk with you, step by step with you, so you both get there. If you have a friend who has a lot, this is a perfect example. Now I talk about young boy a lot, and the reason why I still feel like he can turn his life around, because I see the pain in him. But he's a multimillionaire, and what happened was he started off with his friends. They were all in the gutter trying to make it, and so his friends were, if they were coming up with trying to get money for him to have studio time, they were doing, bad things in the street to try to help. They helped him get where he's at. Well, they say that he treats them like trash, like they're nobody. He holds things over their head. I don't think he even had any of them featured in any of his songs. They're treated like the hired help. And that's not a friend. We were both in the same place, and I sacrificed so you could get up there. Anybody who sacrificed for me, my friend who stood with me in the dirt from the bottom, and I make it, we all made it. We all made it, because I'm in the position to now start your career. And I'm sorry to say, because it's just, because of the people I'm talking about, just like Dirk did. He got up and he was in the position to make his friends come up, and that's what he did. But if you have a friend that is willing to hold your hand and not let go, no matter what, or just anything has been there for you, and that's your true friend. That's a person that you want to keep in your life. And so I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. I hope everyone is staying blessed, praying, asking God for wisdom, understanding, asking Him for strength, good health, just the joys of just the simple joys, and focus on having the true best life, which is in heaven, and not worry about all these things that don't matter, because they're going to be destroyed along with the evil. So there's nothing wrong with having nice things, unless whatever you did to get them was evil. or, you know, how you maintain them is in an evil fashion or form. Whatever happens in the dark will come to the light. We all know that. So if it's worth your pride, or worth your tainted heart, or tainted, your name being tainted, your family being tainted, or you just don't care about how people look at you, or how they feel, what type of person you are, continue to do whatever it is that you want to do, because you have free will. That's one thing God has given you, free will. He doesn't force you to do anything, and he won't. So I just hope that those who are on the fence, that they decide what side they're going to be on, because God doesn't want you lukewarm. You're either hot or cold. You either follow him or don't. I pray for those who don't believe, that God shows you a miracle that makes you understand that he's real, that he is going to come back, and that you need to get ready for his return. I feel for those who have believed and something happened to turn that belief. God is not, he did not leave you at that time. He did not turn his back on you. He just can't, sin cannot, you just can't get away from sin. But he's still there. And everything happens in time. You just have to, I couldn't have been strong if I didn't allow God to take over my life. I would probably, I could be sitting on the ground with a sign in my hand. I could be walking up and down the street in high heels and a mini skirt. I could be in jail, prison for whatever. But there for the grace of God go I. So always remember that. Always remember that God is real, and he wants to help you, but he's not going to force you. And I just hope that everyone is being blessed and trying to maintain, be happy. And until next time.